Marcus Chun pulled his jacket tighter as rain lashed against the windows of the abandoned warehouse district. As a night security guard for the shipping company, he'd walked these routes 1,000 times, but tonight felt different. The storm had knocked out half the streetlights, casting everything in an eerie amber glow. That's when he heard a sound that shouldn't exist in this industrial wasteland. Crying. Soft, desperate sobbing echoing from between two shipping containers. He found her huddled against a concrete wall, no more than 16, with silver hair that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. Her clothes were torn, revealing strange, intricate patterns on her pale skin that looked almost like circuitry. Blood, or what he assumed was blood, seeped from a gash on her forehead. "Hey, it's okay," Marcus said softly, crouching down. "I'm not going to hurt you." The girl looked up with eyes that held depths he couldn't fathom, like looking into deep space itself. She spoke in a language he'd never heard, musical yet urgent. "I don't understand," he said, pulling out his phone. "But I'm calling an ambulance." She grabbed his wrist with surprising strength, shaking her head frantically. The moment their skin touched, images flashed through his mind, massive ships hanging in star-filled voids, beings of impossible beauty and terror. And Earth, as seen from orbit, small and vulnerable. Marcus blinked hard, certain he was hallucinating from stress. But the girl's grip remained firm, her strange eyes pleading. Okay, no hospital," he said. "But you're hurt. Come on." He helped her to her feet, noticing she moved with an odd, almost floating grace. His apartment was only 6 blocks away. He could patch her up there, figure out what to do next. As they walked through the storm, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that invisible eyes were watching them. In the shadows between buildings, shapes seemed to move with purpose. The air itself felt charged, as if reality was holding its breath. The girl Zara, she managed to communicate through gestures, stayed close to his side, occasionally glancing skyward with what looked like fear. Every few minutes, she would touch his arm and whisper something in her musical language, and Marcus would feel that strange sense of vastness again, as if the universe was trying to tell him something just beyond his understanding. Neither of them noticed the nearly invisible surveillance drones following at a discreet distance, or the way certain stars in the storm-clouded sky pulsed with unnatural light. Marcus's small apartment had never felt more inadequate. He cleaned Zara's wound with the gentleness his grandmother had taught him years ago, noting how the strange patterns on her skin seemed to pulse faintly in rhythm with her heartbeat. She winced but didn't cry out, watching him with those impossible eyes. "There," he said, securing the bandage. "That should help." Zara touched the bandage, then looked at him with something that might have been gratitude. She stood and walked to his window, gazing up at the clearing night sky. When she turned back, her expression had changed, more determined, somehow older. She pressed her palm against his television screen, and impossibly, it flickered to life. Not to a channel, but to something else entirely. Images of Earth from space, but not from any satellite Marcus recognized. The planet was surrounded by a shimmer, like a soap bubble, and beyond it, "My God," Marcus whispered. Ships, hundreds of them, sleek and organic-looking, arranged in perfect geometric patterns around Earth. Some were massive, city-sized behemoths that dwarfed anything humanity had ever conceived. Others were smaller, elegant, moving in formations that suggested intelligence far beyond human comprehension. Zara spoke again, and this time, somehow, Marcus understood. Not the words, but the meaning flowed directly into his mind. "They have been watching, testing. For decades, they have sent scouts to evaluate your species. You are not supposed to see me. You are not supposed to help." "But I did," Marcus said, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes. And in doing so, you have changed everything." The screen shifted, showing recordings of other humans in similar situations. woman helping what appeared to be a lost child in Tokyo, a man sharing his meal with a homeless figure in Sao Paulo, a teenager defending someone being bullied in Lagos. In each case, the human being helped transformed, revealing their true alien nature. Most fail the test. They walk past, they look away. They choose convenience over compassion. But some, like you, choose differently. Marcus sank into his chair, mind reeling. This was all planned? Zara's expression softened. I was supposed to observe and report. But when those scavengers attacked me, when I was truly hurt and afraid, the test became real. Your kindness was real. Through the window, the storm clouds parted completely, revealing a sky that wasn't quite right. Stars moved in patterns that defied physics, and between them, lights descended slowly toward Earth. My people have made their decision, Zara continued. Humanity has passed the compassion protocol. You are ready for contact. Marcus stood on shaking legs. What does that mean? Zara's smile was both beautiful and terrifying. Everything you thought you knew about your place in the universe is about to change. The lights descended from the sky like falling stars. But Marcus could see now that they were ships, sleek, organic vessels that moved with impossible grace. They settled silently in parks, on rooftops, in open spaces throughout the city. No explosions, no destruction. Just arrival. Marcus's phone buzzed constantly with emergency alerts, news feeds, and panicked messages from friends. But he couldn't look away from Zara, who stood transformed. Her human disguise had melted away, revealing skin that shimmered like starlight, eyes that held galaxies, and an aura of ancient wisdom that made his knees weak. The others who passed the test, he managed to ask. What happened to them? They became bridges, Zara explained, her mental voice now carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate in his bones. Ambassadors between your species and ours. But the choice is always theirs. Through his window, he could see people emerging from their homes, pointing at the sky, some running, others approaching the landed ships with curiosity rather than fear. News helicopters circled overhead, their searchlights sweeping across impossible geometries of alien technology. We are the Restai, Zara continued. For 3,000 years, we have guided younger species toward galactic citizenship. But we learned that technology without compassion creates monsters. We nearly became such monsters ourselves. She gestured, and the air in his apartment shimmered. Suddenly, Marcus could see everything, a massive fleet hidden behind Earth's moon, the observation posts that had watched humanity for decades, the careful orchestration of tests designed to measure not intelligence or strength, but simple kindness. Your species stands at a crossroads. The same technologies that could heal your world and carry you to the stars could also destroy you. We offer guidance, partnership, and a place in the galactic community. But the choice must be made freely. And if we refuse, then we leave and never return. Your species continues its natural development, unguided and alone. Marcus thought of everything humanity could gain: an end to disease, to hunger, to the isolation of being the only known intelligent life in an vast universe. But he also thought of what they might lose: their independence, their struggles that made them human, their right to make their own mistakes. The choice is not yours alone to make, Zara said gently. But as one who passed the test, your voice will be heard. In 3 days, representatives from every nation will gather. They will decide humanity's future. Outside, the alien ships hummed with quiet energy, and Marcus realized that everything his job, his quiet life, his assumption that he was just another face in the crowd, had been shattered by one simple act of helping a stranger in the rain. What about you? He asked. What happens to you? Zara's expression grew complex. That depends on what humanity chooses. and on whether you still trust the alien girl you rescued from the storm. Asterisk. The United Nations had never hosted beings from beyond Earth. In the Great Assembly Hall, delegates from 195 nations sat in stunned silence as 7 Rextai. Ambassadors took their places at a specially constructed crystalline podium. Their forms shifted slightly, adapting to be less overwhelming for human eyes, but their presence still filled the room with an otherworldly weight. Marcus sat in the observer section, still unable to believe he was here. 3 days had passed. Since first contact, 3 days of chaos, wonder, and debate that had split humanity down the middle. Some called for immediate acceptance of the aliens' offer. Others demanded they leave Earth immediately. Protests raged in every major city, while scientists pleaded for access to technologies that could solve every problem humanity faced. Zara stood among the alien delegation, no longer the frightened girl he'd found in the rain. She was Zaraethis, of the 5th Concordance, a being whose lifespan measured in millennia, whose mind could process information at speeds that would shatter human consciousness. Yet when she looked at him across the assembly hall, he still saw echoes of that vulnerable creature he'd helped. The decision cannot be delayed longer. The lead ambassador, Kethmer, projected to every mind in the room simultaneously. The cosmic situation requires immediate resolution. Secretary General Williams, visibly struggling with the mental contact, spoke aloud. You mentioned other threats. What haven't you told us? The air above the assembly shimmered, displaying star charts. That hurt to look at directly. Sections of space were marked in angry red, spreading like an infection across the galaxy. The Devourers. Zara's voice touched Marcus's mind privately, while Kethmer addressed the assembly. We did not wish to frighten your species, but they advance. Toward this spiral arm, worlds that stand alone do not survive. The holographic display showed planets stripped of life, their surfaces scarred and empty. Some Marcus recognized worlds from science fiction films, he thought, until he realized these were real places, real civilizations that had been consumed. Your species has perhaps 50 years before they arrive, Kethmer continued. Alone, you would not survive the first wave. Under our protection, as part of the Galactic Concordance, you would be safe. The assembly erupted. Delegates shouted in dozens of languages, some calling it coercion, others demanding immediate alliance. Marcus watched humanity fracture in real time, fear and hope warring in every face. President Shun of the Pacific Alliance stood. And if we refuse? If we choose to face this threat alone? Then we will mourn your passing and ensure that your story is remembered in the galactic archives. Kethmer replied without emotion. But we will not violate the choice protocols. Your species must choose freely. In the chaos of shouting delegates. Marcus found himself standing. What about a middle path? The room fell silent. Every eye-human and alien turned to him. You tested us for compassion, he continued, his voice growing stronger. But what if the test isn't over? What if instead of choosing all or nothing, we choose to prove we're worthy partners? Zara's eyes widened, and he felt her surprise ripple through their strange connection. Give us time. Not 50 years hiding behind your protection, but 10. Years to show we can grow. Help us become strong enough to stand with you, not behind you. The alien ambassadors conferred in harmonics that made the air itself sing. Finally, Kethmer nodded. Unprecedented, but intriguing. 5 years had passed since the Concordance Accords were signed. Marcus stood on the observation deck of Luna Station, watching Earth turn slowly below. The planet looked different now, cleaner, the atmospheric processors working to heal decades of damage, while orbital habitats glittered like jewelry around the equator. But it was still recognizably Earth, still fundamentally human. The integration is proceeding faster than we projected, Dr. Sarah Kim reported, approaching with a datapad that would have seemed like magic just years before. The neural interface pilots are adapting to the Vrextai technology better than expected. Marcus nodded, though his attention was focused on the sleek ship approaching the station. He'd felt Zara's presence growing stronger over the past hour. Their bond had deepened over the years of working together, becoming something neither fully human nor alien, but entirely new. The docking bay doors sealed with a whisper of advanced pneumatics, and Zara emerged from her ship. She'd learned to maintain a more human appearance when working with Earth's representatives, but Marcus could see her true form shimmering beneath beautiful, terrible, and completely alien. "The Council's decision?" he asked. "Unanimous approval," she replied, both aloud and through their mental link. "Humanity has exceeded every expectation. The defensive fleet you've built, the technologies you've adapted rather than simply copied, the way you've maintained your cultural diversity while embracing galactic citizenship. It's remarkable." Through the viewport, they could see the fruits of that collaboration, human-designed ships incorporating Vrextai technology. Patrol craft manned by mixed crews defending the outer system, and most remarkably, the massive construction project at the edge of the solar system where humanity was building their first true starship. And the Devourers? Zara's expression darkened. "Still approaching. But they've encountered our joint task forces twice now. Both times they were turned back." She paused, studying his face. "The Vrextai High Council has made another decision. They're dissolving the protection protocols." Marcus felt his heart skip. "They're abandoning us?" "No," Zara smiled, and in that smile he saw both the frightened girl he'd rescued and the ancient being she truly was. "They're recognizing humanity as full partners. The compassion protocol wasn't just about testing your kindness, Marcus. It was about finding a species that could help us remember how to be better than we were." She gestured to the data streams flowing between Earth and the Vrextai ships, the constant exchange of knowledge, art, philosophy, and dreams that had enriched both species. "You saved more than just one alien girl in that storm," she continued. "You saved us from becoming too removed from what matters. And in return, we helped save you from standing alone in the dark." Marcus took her hand, still strange after all these years, still carrying that electric shock of connection that bridged two entirely different forms of consciousness. "So what happens now?" "Now?" Zara looked out at the stars, where human end. Vrextai ships moved in perfect harmony, where new worlds waited to be explored, and where the future stretched out in infinite possibility. "Now we find out what wonders the universe holds for two species who chose compassion over fear." In the distance, Earth's first interstellar vessel, christened Compassion's Bridge, prepared for its maiden voyage to the stars, carrying aboard it the hopes of two species and the promise that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change everything. Asterisk.